Okay, here's a look at my Blitzwing collection. And first, this is not all the Blitzwings that were made. I obviously gave away some of my Blitzwings, such as the Takata Generations version of Blitzwing and the DX9 Blitzwing. And some of them I didn't get, such as the KFC version of Blitzwing. But this is what I still have left in my Blitzwing collection. So let's just take a look at them. And as always, we start off with the very first Generation 1 Blitzwing. So here's a look at the original Generation 1 Blitzwing. Let's zoom out a little. And this is actually a really cool toy. What's really cool about this back in the day was that this is a triple changer. And of course, typical G1, you get some of the die cast metal, and you get all these paint decals, which actually made the figure look really cool. And also, they had those spring gimmicks. So let me see if I can show you here. It has that missile. So the original G1 toys, they were really cool, and so here's a look at the Blitzwing. Really cool. And as always, let's do this real quick. Let's compare this with the animation model so we can see where they base the character design off of. And you could see yeah, they just pick and choose certain things that they want to capture from the toy, so they design their own version for the cartoon. But for the most part, yeah, it looks good. You know, the colors and like the wings and the head, especially the head. Let's take a close-up look at the head. I mean, not cartoon accurate, but yeah, very interesting. Yeah, so that's a look at the G1. And then after G1, there was the CHUG, but they never made a CHUG version of Blitzwing. So what I did here is I brought out the CHUG version of Astral Train, so I can point out some things. What I was looking for was the Blitzwing to be this deluxe size Blitzwing, but they never made it during that time. But what they did do was finally they did release a Generations version of Blitzwing, which, first of all, the Hasbro version sucked. That was before the Takata Hasbro merge, where Takata was making a better paint version of it. But that's a figure that I gave away. But point is, that did not fit in with the CHUG. And that figure did have some issues, like with the shoulders and stuff. And then after that, they remade the Blitzwing in the, I think this is the Legends version. So this is the Takata version before that merge. So this one has a nice purple color, and it's more cartoon accurate in terms of the color. And this is actually really cool. And the gimmick with this that's really cool is he's actually a headmaster. So that head does come off, and you know, you do have a little headmaster figure. So this is a mainline retail figure, so obviously it was made for kids, and it has some of those playable features, which made this really cool. But you know, just looking at this again, I really like this. This looks really nice, especially when you compare it to their most current recent version of the mainline figure, which is I think this is the Legacy Blitzwing. So here, let's just take a quick comparison between these two. So again, Takata, the colors are more accurate, and this is after the merge. So now Takata and Hasbro are the same. So it has this really dark purple, and some things are not quite cartoon accurate. such as like the wings on the feet, they're gray. So I'm not going to point it all out, but that's what Hasbro does. They purposely do things to make this imperfect just to try to, well, I don't know. There's a whole lot of reasons why they do that. Yeah, that's one of the issues with Mainline. And normally Mainline figures are, you know, fun to play with and transform, but this is one of those that's just, there's just so many weird things about this figure. But that's a look at the Mainline. And then the Masterpiece. Well, I think the first Masterpiece version was the KFC version, and that one was based on the old style of the Masterpiece design, where it had all the details and stuff. So that's obviously something that Bobby Skullface would like. But there were definitely a lot of functional problems with it, which was the stability with the legs, because it was so back heavy and the legs were not built really well to really stabilize the figure. So that's the main reason why I didn't get it. And then I could have got it for like $100 from BBTS when it went on sale, but I didn't get it. But what I did get was the DX9 version, which, you know, DX9, their figures, they're in terms of a product, it's really a nice solid figure. I mean, this was big, heavy, bulky. Transformation design was pretty good, but I think this was during the time when they were not making the figure focusing really on the hypertoon, so cartoon aesthetic. So, you know, little things here and there look like the cartoon, but it was still on that old Masterpiece style where it resembled the character, but they had, you know, their own little details here and there. But the biggest issue was that figure was just way too big. It was out of scale. So, like I said, I gave that figure away. I gave away a really nice figure because I was looking forward to Fans Toys, so their first version, which they never came out with. And then they promoted that they're redesigning it with their second version, and it still didn't come out. So yeah, really frustrating, stuck with no Masterpiece Blitzwing until the Star Toys came out with their version. And just have to point out that this is the same designer who made the deformation or transform element. So like the transform element Mirage, the deformation space Blaster, the deformation space Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp. So those figures were actually really nice, and I still have trouble pointing out the difference, you know, because they're not like bad figures. First of all, they are focused on trying to capture their cartoon aesthetics, and their choices of, you know, the materials and stuff is a little bit different, but it's not bad. And the biggest issue, well, not an issue, but the biggest difference is they don't put in a lot of this nice paint and, you know, all this extra sculpted detail, which is not a bad thing. And here I want to make it clear because some people commented on my comments about Bobby Skullface. So I'm just pointing out that Bobby Skullface, at least he's being honest and pointing out that it's his subjective opinion. And that's what I was referring to, that it is his preference, that he likes all the extra sculpted detail and the paint, which is all a part of the old Masterpiece design style. It's not the trending cartoon aesthetics or hypertoon, which is what I like, which is what this definitely fulfills. This definitely simple design, plain simple, doesn't have the extra paint and stuff. I mean, that doesn't make it a bad figure. It's very subjective based on your preference, and when you look at it, this looks really nice. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up. But I digress. So this is the masterpiece version of the Blitzwing. So let's put him back over here, and like I said, I'm waiting for the Fans Toys version, which Fans Toys is now focusing on you know, cartoon aesthetic, so that's interesting to see. Like their blaster, which I will be getting tomorrow from the Chosen Prime. So that's something different Fans Toys is doing now, is they are focusing on Hypertoon. And then last, as always, I finish off with the Legends. So far, Magic Square and New Age has not given us any triple changers, but this is here by McFarlane Toys, and this, just like their other triple changers, their Astro Train, their Octane, the Springer, they're really nice. So they actually designed the figures pretty nice too. So this one, Bobby Skullface might like. I mean, this one is close to the cartoon, but they do have all this extra sculpted detail and additional paint here, and even things like here, the metallic paint on the sword. So this is what I was talking about, his personal preference. He likes all this extra details. I mean, even here, this is not supposed to be silver, but it's, you know, painted silver. So yeah, and I don't disagree in terms of the look. I mean, it does look nice. It's just not the Hypertoon aesthetic. But point is, this is the Legend scale we have, and something I wish for that's never going to happen is if they upscale it a little bit to be the deluxe size of the old CHUG, then I would finally have a CHUG Blitzwing, but I know that's never going to happen. So this is my collection of the Decepticon Triple Changer Blitzwing. And so now the last one I'm waiting for is by Fans Toys, because you know Takata Tomy is most likely not going to give us a triple changer. So this is my Blitzwing collection.